right here hitting. Problem. They're stuck at the window. Yeah. Okay, sorry about the technical issues. We're coming in here a little bit late, but to resume, this is the start of the import race on the second leg of the at the end of the second leg of the ocean race, and we have just taken the start. The boats are on their first leg, so this is a rectangle, a reach to the first mark, which Holcim is now just getting around. We have Griot in second position, followed by 11th Hour and Team Malizia. Biotherm had an issue before the start, and I think they're still sorting out that issue as they have not taken the start. So if we look ahead here, most of the boats have chosen to go for a two-sail configuration. We have one reef in the mainsail and the J2. The wind is a little bit tricky here. We have it's gusting probably about 18 knots and varying between sort of 10 and 15. So going back to the race here, we see Holcim have just jibed around the first mark and are heading towards Mark 2. So this is a short leg. Seems like Holcim, here goes Griot around the mark just inside of 11th Hour. and Malizia in 4th position. None of the boats have decided to deploy any of their larger head sails, as this is a short leg, and they deem the risk not necessary for this short leg. So shortly, Holcim will be going around Mark II and reaching back towards us. So sorry about the late start. We are here in Cape Town with the Table Mountain behind us, an easterly wind. Please let us know in the comments if there's anything in particular that isn't working, or if you have any questions. Please feel free. This live is brought to you by Team Malizia, Seaexplorer. My name's Roman. I'm part of the tech team, dealing with the electronics and the electrics on board. Hello. I'll be here this afternoon as we have 3 laps to do, so don't worry, you'll have plenty of opportunities to see the boats going past at full speed. Speaking of which, here comes Holcim coming back towards us. They don't seem to be on their foils, but I'm sure once they get back over here in the stronger breeze, we'll be able to see them foiling towards Mark III. Unfortunately, we missed the start, but we had a pretty spectacular start by Holcim PRB, up on the foils, flying high out of the water. Looking down the race course again, we have 11th Hour, who have managed to overtake Griot on that short downwind leg. Griot just coming around the 3rd mark, followed by Malizia still in 4th position, just going around the mark now. The boats are reaching back to Mark III, which is just behind us. You probably wouldn't see it from here because it's in line with the buildings of Cape Town. Biotem is still having issues. I believe they may have hit one of the marks of the course. Nothing serious, obviously, because they are inflatable marks, but it has compromised the start to their race. You can see all the boats coming back towards us. None of them successfully foiling now, as they are quite possibly in a light spot of wind. As I said, the wind is very up and down. Some of them just managing to get up on the 11th Hour was almost up on the foils. Griot behind them starting to show some foiling. The angle is a little bit tighter than we expected. Seems that they're sort of on a tight reach towards Mark III. You see Holcim PRB just going past us there with J2 and 1 reef in the mainsail. Boat speeds are probably around 15, maybe 15 knots. There's a lot of traffic around us, so bear with us. We have a lot of spectator boats and obviously helicopters trying to get the image of these beautiful boats reaching across the Cape Town harbour. So currently the boats are not using a spinnaker because it's a tight reach. So there's too close to the wind for spinnaker angles. As I said before, the downwind leg was so short that the boats decided that the risk was not worth the reward, as these maneuvers take quite a lot of coordination and time, and there's a high risk of something going wrong. So the loss of not using the spinnaker was not so significant. We're just going alongside Grio, and we have in the image as well Malizia still in 4th position. The distance between the boats has not changed very much since Mark 2, except Holcim have managed to stretch a bit of a lead. I think as the boats get into the stronger wind here towards the start line, they can start to accelerate and extend that advantage. Here we can see the open cockpit of Grio, where everyone is sort of either inside or outside, whereas if you look on the other boats, we can just see on the leeward side somebody sticking their head out. That's so they can keep a lookout to leeward, because from the helming position inside and on the windward side, the visibility to leeward is very bad. Here we are going alongside Team Malizia. They should just be getting into a little bit stronger winds, so hopefully we'll see them accelerate and use those big foils. I see Antoine, the onboard reporter, on the windward side running backstay with the camera in his hand. He must have an incredible angle from there. There we go, we started to chase the boat down. I think probably still boat speeds of between 15 and 16 knots.
Which position? Which position from the Malizia?
So the question I just had, what position is Team Malizia currently in? 4th position. 4th position behind Grio, 11th hour, and hold back. Just bear with us while we deal with these choppy conditions left over from the spectator boats. If you can see on the water, we have dark patches coming down towards us. That represents a gust of wind. It's very gusty here as we get behind Table Mountain. Spectacular for us, but very tricky for the sailors. Looking just behind Team Malizia, we can see PRB, who have tacked around Mark 4 and are heading back towards the start-finish line to start the 2nd lap of the course. So we're just going to leave the boats for a second to go find a better angle for you to see the boats coming around on their 2nd lap. Okay, so we're back after that very quick journey towards Mark 1. So now we are just behind Mark 1 and 2 actually, as both the marks have been squeezed together. We have Holcim coming in towards the first mark. They seem to have stretched out a lead, and hopefully we'll get you a good angle once the boat gets closer, but it seems like Holcim is up on his foils and coming full speed towards us. So to give you an idea, we're probably just where the beach starts at Big Bay in Cape Town, South Africa. And the wind seems to be a little bit lighter here than it was towards the other side of the course, but with still some pretty significant gusts, so I'm sure we'll see some pretty exciting maneuvers coming. Holcim on the foils coming towards the first mark pretty quickly. So the idea is that they'll be coming around this mark, they'll have to perform a jibe, and then they'll head back in the other direction towards Mark 3. So you'll see them jibe, which is putting the bow of the boat with the wind, so in the same direction as the wind, and coming around to the other side. It's hard to see the rest of the positions, but I see 11th hour is definitely in second position. Oh, here we go. We see Griot in third position and Team Malizia close behind Griot in fourth position. Biotherm, it seems, have decided not to take the start of this import race, following their issues before the start. It's a pretty clear view. Holcim PRB coming in Mark 2 to head back towards Mark 3. Pretty impressive sight here. Both foils seems to be down, and they seem to be in a pretty stable flight. Hopefully we won't get in their way. They're choosing the right moment to jibe so that they don't have to perform any other maneuvers before coming around Mark 2. Slow, right comes around to the other side, and then they can come back up towards the wind and accelerate again. On this short leg, decided not to use any of the big forward sails. They've decided to stay with their current configuration, one reef in the mainsail and the J2. 11th hour now coming around to perform the same maneuver and have decided to use the same sail configuration. There you go, 11th hour, also slowing down to perform their jibe. Both foils also deployed on 11th hour. Now, not due to any benefit from having the windward foil in. I believe this is just to reduce maneuvers on the jibe, so to make the jibe easier for them, as they already have their starboard foil down for the reach back towards Mark 3. The positions remain the same. We have Holcim in first, followed by 11th hour, followed by Griot, and in fourth position, Malizia. Currently this is a 4-boat race, as Biotherm have not taken the start due to an issue before the start of the race. Again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate. We are just halfway through lap 2, and there are 3 laps altogether. Malizia have just done an incredible job of coming in, foiling, and they seem to have taken the inside of Grillo on that reach. So they're in a pretty good position to jibe around Mark II and take 3rd position from Grillo. Here they go for their maneuver. Bear with us as we just move a little bit closer. So Team Malizia go around Mark II on the 2nd lap of the race in 3rd position. They've done an excellent job of capturing and outside of Mark I. So we're just following Team Malizia, who are in 3rd position on their time reach between Mark 2 and Mark 3. So what you're looking at there is Grillo, who are in 4th position, reaching back between Mark II and Mark III. You can see them just getting onto their foils as they hit a gust of wind. You can see the huge acceleration they get as soon as they get onto those foils. So it's super important for them to be able to use them to their full advantage as soon as they get a gust of wind. That made the difference between 3rd and 4th position on that last reach, as Malizia was able to get up on their foils a little bit earlier. So looking in the distance, we have Holcim still in 1st, followed by 11th hour Team Malizia and Grillo. Team Holcim seem to be on their upwind VMG leg already, so they'll be going shortly through the start-finish line again for their 3rd and final lap. So we're just going to wait here for them to come back around, as that part of the circuit happens quite quickly, and for us it's easier to get a good sight of the boats as they come back towards us. So bear with us if the boats are a little bit far away. In the meantime, please take this opportunity to ask any questions. We're all here. We have the media crew on board. We have Will Jackson in the back there. He's our rigger. Careful. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Maybe Will can give us a quick summary of how the beginning of this race has unfurled so far.
It's been very exciting to watch foiling Imokas starting in a reaching lineup like that. You don't often get to see these boats doing that, so yeah, very exciting to see that. Obviously, Holcim got a good lead off the start and pulled away quite nicely. Malizia did a great overtaking that last mark. It managed to stay on the foil all the way down to the mark and just cut inside Goyet. And looks like they're holding it all the way back up to the top of the course, which is nice. Yeah, this sort of format for these boats is quite new. These boats generally are only going offshore and short-handed, so they don't often get to race around the cans like this. And obviously the foils are a fairly new thing in the last two generations of boats. And they definitely make it exciting when there's this much wind. We've got one more lap to go. Holcim are just crossing the start-finish line, so they're up on the foil already. Probably doing in the region of 25, 28 knots, maybe topping out 30, 32s. It really is a great leg for them. This one back to the north. I think they've got a pretty good lead. So unless they have a technical issue, I'm not sure they're going to lose that. The other three are still battling it out though. Looks like 11th hour have just tacked up by the city, and Malizia is soon to follow. And hopefully on the way back they can do a bit of jostling a position. So we're down at the bottom mark now. We've got Holcim coming straight at us at a rate of knots on the foil. They've got to do a swift bear away here and then down to the bottom mark. They've actually split these marks again. Before they were much closer, so you could jibe and then tuck up straight into the upwind leg. But this is going to be a little bit slower for these guys because they've got the smaller sails on. They'll have to crab downwind a little bit, and then when they jibe they can harden up onto the breeze. But you see here Holcim's got both foils in the water, so the windward one creates a bit of drag, but it means when they bear away they'll actually sit on both foils. We're just making sure that we don't get run over. He's waving us off, guys. So they want to create enough of an angle that when they jibe, they can get back up on the foil. So So now they'll throw it around. These boats aren't really designed for these manoeuvres. They don't have enough winches, so you'll see in a minute that the boat gets thrown over. There won't be any runner on. They just throw it about like a dinghy. A lot of these guys started their offshore life in Figaros, so they're used to just throwing the boats around. But the Figaro is a little bit more bulletproof than these things, so hopefully they don't have any issues, don't have any breakages. The key to this race is a good performance, but also not damaging the boat with only 48 hours until the start of the longest leg of the ocean race and the hardest one by far, across the Southern Ocean to back to the Atlantic and up to Brazil. So Holcim through that. Next is 11th hour, again coming straight at us. You can see 11th hour very flat and on both foils there. Eleventh hour's got a very experienced crew on board. Who we got? We got Charlie Enright, who's done the race a few times on the 65s. Got Jack Boutel, who won the race last year, last edition on Dongfeng. Who else is on there, Rome? Sci-Fi's on there. He's done the race probably about 5-6 times, something like that. Christine Machado is sort of getting into it. She's done some IMOCA single-handed stuff. Yeah, did the last route to Rum. Yeah, this boat's pretty experienced. They've had an IMOCA before that they tried and tested all their setup before they built this boat. So this boat's fairly well worked up. Amazing, they're just sat on both foils with the bow out, and they'll try and keep that going until they have to do their jibe. Otherwise, they will stop, which they're sort of starting to do. A little bit light down this end now, of course. Seems to be more pressure under the mountain up by the city. But this is where the goose swinging technique would work quite well. I've practiced that on an IMOCA many a time. Yeah, possibly a bit early there with 11th, but Malizia is now the next one to come at us. Their third position. They're just on and off the foil. The wind's a bit patchy off the land here, so difficult to keep the boats foiling. I'm sure some of them will be feeling that they could have gone for full main at times, but then you get these little gusts of breeze that easily catch you out. A lot of the boats, when they're up on the foil, it's difficult to stop foiling, and you get these big wheelies that are very dramatic but aren't very fast and aren't very good for loading the boat. So they obviously try and avoid that. Malizia currently struggling to get on the foil. Guyot behind them, the same. There's some good breeze coming down the course, so hopefully they catch that, get up on the foil and get down to this mark with it. The guys have, after this race, there's 24 hours for us to get the last bits done and get the boats loaded. And I think the current forecast has the boat starting upwind in 18-22 knots, getting around the Cape of Good Hope and then getting south into some some ocean trades and hopefully downwind. These boats are not comfortable going upwind. Got the chopper sat right in front of Malizia. I'm sure they appreciate that. There we go, a little bit of pressure there. Breeze has swung quite a long way right since the start, so the course is now very biased, and the reaching leg back is a dead beat, and this leg downwind is a little bit too deep for these small sails. So still all to play for. Let's see, just coming up to the mark, so another 100 metres and they'll be jibing. There they go, little puff, a little bit on the foil, just to the end here.
So we've had a few questions as we look at Malizia coming around the first mark. We've had a few questions about the keel and the noise. So as you're probably aware when you followed our videos from the last leg, that the noise inside was a big issue. As the boats get up to speed, the whistling from the appendages really creates an unbearable sound inside the cabin. So this time around we've done a few modifications to the trailing edge of the appendages, and we've given them a Donaldson trailing edge. So effectively we give them a 45-degree angle, which we slightly round off, and without going into technical details, that essentially improves the noise coming off the appendages as the boats go at high speeds. This has been tested, and fingers crossed, I think the noise issue has been solved for now. We will still get a bit of noise, but it will be hopefully a lot less unbearable than it was during leg 1 and 2. The next question was based on the keel. So yes, they do use their keel, and they probably are using their keel on this course. Essentially the keel adds to the righting moment of the vessel, so as they are on starboard tack, they will have their keel to windward to increase their righting moment, and as they come through the jibe, they will put it to the center and then over to the port side for their next legs, helping with the righting moment on their port hand tack also. So on board Malizia for this import race we have Nico Lundven. Boris has come back on as skipper, as his foot is now doing a lot better, and he'll be on board for the Southern Ocean also. We have Will Harris, and replacing Rosie is Axel Pilin, sorry. So Axel is stepping on for Rosie in this leg, as Rosie has had a minor illness these last few days, and to give her an extra bit of rest so she's in top form for the Southern Ocean leg, Axel is taking her place for the import race. But all going well, you'll see Rosie on board for the start on Sunday. So Team Malizia have just gone around Mark 2 of the third lap of the race. So this is their final lap. The boat speeds are very up and down, as the wind is also very unstable. Again, we have between, maybe the wind has come up a little bit, we have between 20 and 10 knots of wind. With boat speeds, as the boats get up on their foil, they're probably doing low to mid 20s, and when they're off their foils, the boats are most likely doing between 14 to 17 knots of wind. Coming around behind Malizia is Grillo, who are just going around the second mark of the third lap. So currently the positions are Holcim with a large lead, followed by 11th hour, followed by Malizia in third position, and finally Grillo. I remind everyone that Baritone did not take the start of this import race due to an issue before the start. In your image there you have Team Malizia on the reaching leg, tight reach, let's call it, as the wind shifts around a little bit in Cape Town here. So we have an easterly wind, so the wind is disturbed by Table Mountain, so the wind direction and strength is very changeable at the moment. In your image, Grillo, who have also left their windward foil down. This, again, as we said earlier, this is just to save time on maneuvers. In the background we have Malizia heeling over quite a bit. So this is not a usually fast angle for the IMOCAs, but when they get caught off guard on a gust, the boats tend to heel over as they accelerate, and then finally as they start to accelerate, the foil will start to create righting moment and bring the boat back upright slightly. So there is that uncomfortable moment as the gust hits and the boat accelerates where there's a lot of heel angle, but this is not a quick mode for these IMOCAs. Will, do you have anything to add on this these final two legs of the race?
We're just gonna go. So that's Malizia and Goya still going upwind. They're just at about 70 or 80 true wind angles, so they're just on and off the foil in the gusts. These boats, with the use of the foils upwind, you can achieve speeds of 18 to 20 knots just upwind, which is great in flat water like this, but not so much fun in the ocean. We've got Holcim look like they're finished, or maybe no one told them, and they're carrying on. 11th hour just about to come back through the start-finish line on the foils. Table Mountain in the background there. Going very quick there. And Malizia is around Mark 3 on the wind, getting ready to tack. I think I heard it. Looks like it. That's Holcim first, 11th hour second. Malizia just doing their last tack to round Mark 4, and then they'll be heading back through the a tricky race, but so Malizia is now round Mark 4. They're up on the foil, heading to the finish line. We're right in front of it. Finishing in style, well ahead of Guyot. And on here they come. We're actually get a hoot from the committee boat as they cross. Hopefully the guests on board have had a good time today. Didn't get too scared. I think they've all been on deck the whole time, so it's been quite lively. There we go.
So just as Malizia come across the finish line, just as an aside, we have on board Jimmy and Ricardo. There they are, taking some incredible images. So please, if you want any more, subscribe to our YouTube channels. You'll get those great images from Jimmy, and to follow, we'll have great pictures from Ricardo. Thank you to all the Germans. Next time I'll try to learn a bit of German, and we'll do it a bit. So hello to all the German fans. Here we are, just coming up to Malizia. You can see everyone relaxing after that pretty intense race, no doubt. Nico Lundven on the leeward side with the tiller in his hand. You can see his helming position is a little bit awkward for visibility on the other side of the boat, so he has to rely on eyes on the other side. You can see him craning his neck around to try to see what's happening. As they fill their head sail away, they'll be coming around back towards the VNA and back into port. The sailors will be getting a bit of rest for the start of the leg 3, and we'll be back with you live on Sunday. Thanks very much for tuning in, and this is the end of our live.